Well, I'm headed out in the woods to do a job I really don't want to do. Kind of makes me a little bit sad, if I'm being honest with you. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's a nice sunny day here. Last week of February, it's up to 40 degrees, which feels like summertime around here. We've been having a tough winter, so it's nice to get a little bit of a break. But with that break, of course, comes mud. We've been fighting ice here for 2 weeks, and now we're fighting mud. So my dad and I have been out working in the woods all morning, but the spot we were working in is getting a little bit too muddy, pulling the logs out. So we put that on hold. And I'm going to tackle a project that I've been eyeing up here for a while. And it's not one I'm particularly happy that I have to do. So if you guys have some woodland, or you spend time in the woods, or you're a hunter or a hiker, I'm sure you've been in the woods walking, and you see a tree and think, wow, that is an impressive tree. That really is, kind of catches your eye and stands out from the rest. Well, we have a tree like that here on our property. Actually, before it was my property, when our neighbors owned it, it's near the edge of one of our Christmas tree fields. So I would always see that as a kid working out in the field. I'd see this tree there, and it'd always just catch your eye because it was so big and straight and impressive. Well, I went and checked that tree out here a couple months ago, just to kind of walk up to it and take a closer look at it. Since then, a couple years ago, we bought the property, so I own the tree now. And well, I was very disheartened to see that the bottom, at the base, the bark is sloughing off, and I think it's seen better days, and I think it's on its way out. And it's a tulip poplar, which I know to some people isn't going to get you too excited. I can count on one hand the number of tulip poplars we have on this property. It just doesn't grow around here. In fact, my dad and I were talking at lunch, and we think it may have been planted because we know one of the homesteads near here, they had planted some, and we think this one might have been planted, or maybe it was seed from one of those that blew in. But it stands head and shoulders above everything else, and when we get there, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But it's just a really big, impressive tree. And yes, I know I'm in the lumber business. Yes, I know I do some logging, but at heart, I guess you'd call me a tree hugger. I hate to cut stuff down. I always try to leave the forest better than I found it. And this is just one of those big mature trees that just has lived its life, and it's time for it to go, and I hate to see it go. So, like I said, we were out, you can see some mud on my tires there. We were out this morning, hauled the load in. So I'm set up, ready to roll here. I just got to throw this chain back on the tractor, and I'm going to meet him out there, and we'll take a look at this beauty. I made it out here. I'll show you what my dad found while he was waiting on me. Shed antler. He said you found one that you think matches this right over here the other day. Yeah. That's a little bonus. So, sorry, I'm spinning around too much. I can make you guys dizzy. There's our Christmas trees behind us. Like I said, I used to see this tree when we were working out in the field, and well, we're headed in here. You're not gonna be able to see through this brush, but we're headed in there maybe 50 yards. So let's take a walk and see what we find in here. So I have to say, this area here is where I have some of my nicest timber. I mean, that's a nice maple there, a 16-inch maple. It's no slouch. There's some nice trees in here, but there's one that stands head and shoulders above the rest, and that's this one right here. And of course, like most things in life, I'm not sure the camera is going to do it justice, but this poplar is just immense. I just saw on my way in here coming down the hill, the crown stands head and shoulders above the rest of these trees. It's a big boy. I'll be curious to get a tape measure on the bottom. I'll be curious to count some rings, and I'm just hoping it's solid. But you can see the problem here. This bark is just sloughing off. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's just old age, its time has come, or if there's some kind of pest, or hopefully it's solid inside. But we're gonna make a plan of attack here. I'm gonna let my dad run the saw, and I'm gonna run the camera, because it's probably gonna turn out better that way for you guys. And I have an idea how we're gonna do this, but when you're taking big trees down like this, it's, I guess really the name of the game is try to limit your collateral damage, because that big crown is probably gonna try to take something with it. So I gotta get a helmet on, because this is also the type of tree that throws stuff everywhere. And we'll get you some action here. So I figured rather than talk over the chainsaw, it'd be better to voice over after the fact. I also sped up the footage here a little bit just to kind of keep the length of this video down some. So it's gonna look like he's running a hot saw, but it's just sped up 2 times. So my dad's cutting the notch now, and this actually took a good amount of time just to make sure he had that notch the way he wanted it. You know, normally on a regular size tree, this is something you can do, you know, 2-3 minutes, tree's down, but this takes a lot more time. There he's whittling off what I call the hips, like a root flare, just to make it a little bit more manageable. He's running a 24-inch bore on that saw, and well, that's not going to be enough to get through it in one shot. He has to cut from both sides. So that kind of getting rid of them, because they got to come off anyway, it just kind of helps it to be able to form that notch, and helps with the back cut too. It's less material to cut through. We got rid of that, and that's a good first sign, because there's no rot there. That was a big concern that it'd be rotten inside, but now it's nice and solid. So now he's starting his back cut. It's time for me to retreat up the hill a little bit, get out of harm's way. I'm going to try to give you guys the best shot I can get you here. He's putting some wedges in there to just make sure this goes the way we want it, doesn't sit back on the saw. Try to give you a big overview. My eyes are going to be up. Whenever you're cutting down a tree like this, keep your eyes in the air. Watch for debris falling. You're watching for branches that get snagged and get thrown back at you. A little bit of a wind kicking up here that's actually not in our favor. Put those wedges in some. This helps kind of keep it moving the direction you want it moving in. Wow. Well, it's on the ground. Maybe not 100% where we wanted. I think the wind kind of...
No, I missed that.
Oh, I see. Well, it's down with a little bit of collateral damage, but it's solid, that's for sure. I'm going to count up the rings here and see what we got. I'm thrilled to see that it's solid. Typical poplar. You got a greenish brown heart and a white sapwood. Looks nice, fast growing tree. We're gonna get it measured up here, see exactly how long we got to the first branch, get it balked, and this is gonna be a job and a half pulling this out of here. So I just measured, it's 34 across the base. Let's jump up on this thing and see what we got for length. Well, this one's not a hard one to walk on. It's like walking on a walking path. A lot of times you got to really balance on the smaller logs. Well, there's the crotch. And we got 38 feet. 38 feet is what we got there. I'm gonna figure out how I want my logs here. I haven't even really thought about that much. What length I want these things and how we're gonna get it out of here. So I decided on 2 10s and 2 8-foot logs. I know what you're thinking. That's only 36 feet. Well, you need to add trim. I add 6 inches to every log, so that's where you get the other 2 feet from. So I'm gonna lay that out. A log this size is a job and a half just to bucket to length. So we'll get you some action there and we'll start pulling. So by my best count, which this was not the easiest thing to count, seems like oak and some other woods are a lot easier to define the rings. I got 92 years out of this, is what I see from the center out, which is probably about what I would expect. That's, poplar, if you can make it out on the camera here, has some wide growth rings. It grows much faster than oak. Like that there in particular is that was a big year there. It put on a 1/4 inch. So that's kind of neat to see. So 92 years this tree's been here. Like I said, I think we're getting this right at the peak. I don't think this thing has much more life in it. So I'm thrilled that I don't see rot here. I don't see degrade. A little bit here starting in where this bark was sloughing off. So I think this is a case where we caught it just in time. It's gonna make some beautiful lumber. I'm thrilled that we did this. As much as I hate to see it come down, I would have hated it even more if next year I come back and it's starting to rot and degrade and we take it down anyway and we don't get to use it to its full value. So big win here. Now we just got to get it out of the woods. Did have a little bit of collateral damage with this maple. It's a shame. We were a couple feet to the right of where we really wanted to be, and it took this down with it, but it's not gonna go to waste. This will make a decent saw log, so this is coming out with us. Sometimes it's just the way it goes. When you got trees this big, such huge crowns, things happen. It's going to be quite a pull for this little 42 horse Kubota. Well, I got one out, 3 more to go. That actually wasn't too bad. I sure am glad it's not oak. It would weigh twice as much. But let me show you what I was looking at as I was pulling. That is going to be some beautiful wood there. Absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to saw this stuff. Well, that's the last of them right there. This little Kubota earned its keep today. This tractor continuously impresses me. 4 nice poplar logs, 2 maples. Better to be lucky than good. Stop that right over a little hole so I can get my chain out. Sometimes it just works out that way. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. I got myself a bonus log. Went back in after I unhooked the last log there to pull down a top that was up against another tree, trying to clean up the job a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer, and not do damage to any other trees. And when I pulled that out, I saw the one limb had a nice 8-foot log, and I don't typically saw limbs, but it was there, it was hooked up to the tractor, and it looked nice, so I figured why not pull it out and give it a shot. It's not costing me anything, and it may be some bonus wood, so that's a little extra there. Tomorrow in the morning when the ground's frozen, I got to do some more logging up the hill, and tomorrow afternoon I'm going to come in here and pick all this stuff up. So I'll bring you back tomorrow afternoon. We'll get this on the truck. We'll get it back to the mill. So I did have every intention to pick up those poplar logs the next day after I filmed us dropping that tree, but I gave it my best try. It just wasn't happening. I thought the ground was pretty dry there where I was going to go fetch hose. Well, I got on there with the truck and I sank like a rock. Our subtropical week we were having there last week, it was in the 40s every day, and it just got really greasy on the top, and the ground was still frozen about 2 inches down, and it took everything I had to get the truck back out of there without getting a pull. It was not good. So we're about a week later now, and it's 20 degrees this morning. So I think we're in good shape to go haul. So I'm going to get the truck set up, and we'll get down there and pick these logs up. Well, we made it. It is amazing the difference a little bit of frozen ground will make. They're still right where we left them. This isn't a real high crime area. I didn't expect anybody to pick them up and walk away with them. I'm gonna let the hydraulics warm up a minute, then we're gonna get to loading. That is the only downside about it being about 20 degrees. Everything's gonna be a little bit slow to start this morning. Figured maybe I'd give you guys a bird's eye view of what I'm seeing. And I know what you're thinking, man, he's slow operating that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is about the second time I've fooled around with it since I put it together. So I'm still learning the controls, but I'm pretty happy with how it's working. It's not as fast as a regular log loader, but for what I'm doing, it works pretty well. These controls are pretty neat too. It's neat that I can stand wherever I want. to kind of get a good bird's eye view and operate it. That's the wrong way. And let's go down. That's where I want to be. I'll get faster. Well, I got everything loaded up, tucked in, ready to get this stuff back to the mill. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I was gonna put sawing in, but that's gonna be way too long a video. So like the channel, subscribe, do all that stuff. In the future, I'm gonna have a video sawing this poplar. I thought it's worthwhile making a video on sawing just because it's not every day I get to saw 34-inch logs. So that'll be a good one coming up. For right now, I'm hitting the road. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.